My name is Thandisizwe May, well known as Tyson May. I am based in Cape Town, Western Cape. I'm originally from Eastern Cape, from a small town called Tofimvaba. I grew up in the Eastern Cape. I did all my lower levels to high school in the Eastern Cape. I passed my matric 2003. Then I moved to Western Cape looking for a job. At first, I did get those small jobs like assisting in constructions, all that. Then 2000, same year, around October, I got a job at Spear Wine Farm. When I get a job here, my job was mainly to pack the shelves. When I joined Spear at the time, Spear was still more like a wine co-op. So they had 90% of the wines from different farms and just small 10% from Spear. So my main job was to make sure the shelves are full at all times. So at my shelves, I remember it was 3, 4 bottles. So I always had to memorize where is what in my shop. So basically, I was always going around in case if one customer took all those 3 bottles, just to remember what to fill up there. But as I was doing that, the customers will come to the shop, which is local and international customers. So they will ask me questions about wine, and I didn't know anything about wine. I had to run and call one of the wine educators or one of the wine presenters to come explain to these customers. So as they do that, as the time goes, I've realized that I got distracted all the time because the guest comes, asks me, I have to run. So this kind of an up and down thing doesn't really work for me. So what I must do, I must listen to these wine educators. What do they say actually to these customers? So as kind of a listen some stuff that they say, I've tried to actually answer to my customers. And as I was doing that, they realized, okay, if I understood something, that will sell slightly bit more in the shop because I'm always in the flow. And then the manager of the, no, not the manager, the senior one educator of the time, which is Nikki, she coached me, she took me around the shop, she explained to me different styles. So that way my selling skills started now to kind of improve, to get better and better. And then as the time goes, my manager of the wine shop, he said, you know what, we do get these functions to these different farms. How about we take him to with us so they can meet these people, talk to these people, he understand the whole industry. And then that happened. So that way I gained a lot more confidence. That means my sales also got better. So as my confidence was growing, the Spear now started to get rid of the other brands from different farms, and they started now to focus only on the Spear brand. And at the time, they got a new manager and they split the wine shop and the wine tasting room. So retail and tasting. And then the new manager at the time, Jill Dekay, she came in. She decided, you know what, I will send them, all of them, to the wine course. So we did the first course, which was a Cape Wine Academy. It was called Brillium at the time. So in these days, I believe they call it level 1. So I did that, I passed that, came back, continued with my job. But as the time go, I remember I was on leave, came back from leave, and there was this couple, English couple, which is Kate Tull and Jude Little. They set up a scholarship. They came to South Africa looking for previous disadvantage in terms of the wine industry. So the aim was to groom that person to have a lot more confident or grow the international knowledge in South Africa. So I was like, Tyson, there's this scholarship. Bring your CV tomorrow. It's a last day. I didn't have a CV really. When I get back home, I had to do all means to prep my CV. I brought my CV back the following day, and then we go to the interviews. Then I got a scholarship. That was 2008. So the scholarship was 1 year in the UK. So I went to the overseas. I was working at the green and blue wine shop. They also had a school of wine called Green and Blue. That's what I was studying on that side. The Green and Blue wine shop was a combination of a wine retail, deli, coffee, and wine bar. So that means it was a great experience in one area. It's much more easier or great way to learn about wines. And the shop strong strength or strategy. It was to sell. It was more like a focus in a natural wines, biodynamic, organic, or small production. More like the wines that the family feel that people has a lot more hands on. They didn't want to do this massive production. Even in the shop, when people come in the shelf, there was always a note. So for us, if you feel like you have time, we just given it a time. If you look in the shop, each and every bottle had a note about that specific farm, which is more like a people will just come in. It's more like a library. So people will come in a shop and ask questions about it. So people enjoyed it. So that was the best way. And then School of Wine, this School of Wine, we attended. It was mainly twice a week, tasting international wines, doing all this course all year. And as I was doing that, we also had a trips in between. I remember we went to France, southern France, in the Roussillon area, and then we stayed there for like a week or two. Studied about those start of natural farming in that area, and then we came back to the UK for after 2 weeks, and then again we had another trip to Spain. So the Spain one was more like a great highlight because we did go to 3 regions. The first one we went to is Rieux Basses, which is Castilla. So the area is well known for white wine. So what I liked in that trip, every area you go to, the wine, the food of the area matches the food. For instance, if you're talking about the Castilla, the grape varietal, it's Albarino, which is a white wine, and they had a lot of seafood. Even if you go to their pubs, just buy your pint of beer, and they will just give you oysters for free. So it was just kind of a nice experience. Then we went to Bierzo, which is more like the grape varietal is called Menthia. That was very more like your softer, easier, juicier, fruitier style of wine. And that in that area, they will have a lot of pork dishes, like a pork meals, which is quite nice, softer and easier. And then the other day after that we went to Ribera del Douro, which is more like a bold, deep style of wine, more like a New World style. There's a lot of international grapes there as well. And then there you had like a beef, kind of a deep meals as well. So that was a quite great highlight. And then back to the UK. So after 6 months after my studies, so every Monday in the shop, I had to present 2 specific wines from different countries every Monday. So each one had to have a food and wine. Like I had to do food and wine pairing. So it was more like a challenging. I didn't have time to rest. I would get invited in the wine tastings, but at the same time, I would also have to prepare my studies to do my assignment. So it was kind of a busy year. So I will choose the food, I will choose the wine, have a story behind the wine, have a style of the wine, have a food that goes with. So it was always kind of my research. So that actually opened up my mind. So when I came back to South Africa after all that kind of experience, I came to the shop to Spear with my proposal. I said, okay, this is what I've studied. So with my studies, I don't want to be just based only in the wine tasting room. It would be great if you can split my days. So 15 days I'll be working at the wine retail, and the other 15 days I'll be working more like in a hotel, kind of a restaurant. So so they didn't have a problem with that, because with that 15 days that I'm at the hotel, I just prepared all my waiters, make sure that they are spot on, they understand the wine. And that happened. I also went to the conferencing center, I trained all the staff, and then they were great. So I did that for like in a period of 2-3 years. And then the new wine shop opened up. So now when the new wine shop opened up, that's when Spear now has changed from being a co-op. And they were more like, because I think they changed about 2005. And then they just got rid of everything else from anyone else, and they only focus on a Spear wine. So now that means it demanded a lot more time of me being in a new tasting room. So that means stopped now working in both sides. I was based in the tasting room. The tasting room, then they employ a lot of new staff. Then I had to train them and make them understand our wines, and I had to actually share my positivity about wine and my knowledge and my love about wine. So, and then the educators were great. We were doing great at the wine shop. But now when I came back, I did Brilliant, I did Green and Blue Wine School of Wine, and then now there's also again new manager, and then that's when I started to found this Wine and Spirit Education Trust, which is a wizard, started to get to kind of a grow in South Africa. She told me you need to do these courses. I was like, really? I said, yeah, you need to do this. Then the whole team, we did level 1, level 2, we passed. And then I thought, okay, I'm done now. I don't want to do any wine studied. And then she told me that I think you need to do level 3, because at the time I was like, that was now when 2016. Then I gave it a try. I did it. I passed my tasting with a distinction, and then theory was the problem. Then I had to rewrite the theory. Then again, as the time goes, I just took my break. COVID came, and then I also did that now. So I'm waiting on my results as we speak. And then I had to, yeah. So I also have created my YouTube channel, which is, you can check it out, Tyson May, the Big T. I'm just kind of simplifying the tasting. It's just kind of a good way also that you can see what I'm talking about, but I'm just trying to make it simple as much as I can. I'm taking people in steps because I don't want to be more like a kind of a cocky or... So that is my skill: wine sales, staff training, tasting room, private tasting, media tasting, visual tasting. So that's what I'm good at as well. So if you're one of those, you are looking for someone and you have those different brands, or you're one of the investors that would like to invest in someone, because my plan is to take actually my experience in the future to the Eastern Cape. So that way I'm going to preach the responsible drinking, or drinking in style, because what I have experienced overseas and Western Cape, we do not have such on the Eastern Cape side. So at the moment, I'm open to the people that will have those kind of different brands, or on the investors.